Hello and welcome to the book launch of Glimmers. Thank you everybody for joining. You could have been anywhere tonight, but you have chosen to be here celebrating Dr. Nancy Dome's beautiful book, Glimmers. If you're watching, before I introduce myself, please do just type in the comments, let us know your name and where you're watching from, and we can say hello. There will be an exciting prize draw as well. So if you haven't registered, just give us your name and you'll be in for a prize. So good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm Daniella Blechner, founder of Conscious Dreams Publishing, and it's just such a joy to be here celebrating the launch of this truly beautiful and important book, Glimmers by Dr. Nancy Dome. At Conscious Dreams Publishing, we're passionate about publishing books that spark conversation, healing and transformation and hope. And Glimmers, let's look at this beautiful book one more time, embodies all of those things so powerfully. Hello there, Judy Cole Michigan. I'm going to highlight your name. Here we go, Judy Cole. Nice to see you. Let us know where you're watching from or joining from. We've got Taylor here. Hey, the famous Taylor. Nice to see you. Let's put him into the prize draw. So Dr. Nancy Dome, if you don't know, is an acclaimed educator, speaker, author, and founder of Epoch Education. Through her groundbreaking work in Compassionate Dialogue and in her RIR protocol, she's spent decades helping individuals, schools, and communities navigate difficult conversations around race, identity, belonging, and healing with honesty, empathy, and humanity. Many people know Nancy through her previous books, Let's Talk About Race and Other Hard Things. I've had the absolute privilege of interviewing her for this book and the Compassionate Dialogue journey. But Glimmers offers something deeply personal and reflective. Inspired by the spirit of Sankofa. You might be able to see the Sankofa bird here. Sankofa bird, looking back in order to move forward. This collection of essays explores memory, grief, resilience, compassion, and moments of light that help us guide us through even the darkest of times. So during the evening, we're going to have a special reading from Nancy herself, reflections from former students whose lives she has amplified. And I've just learned today that they have not seen each other for 30 years, 30 whole years. We're going to have a live Q&A and conversation. So please do put your questions in the chat. This is an interactive conversation. It'd be great if you could all join in. I have tons of questions for Nancy, but I've done my interviews with her. So it'd be great for you to throw your questions in at any time during this conversation. And there'll be signed book giveaways and a chance to win Dr. Dome speaking to your book club or reading group. So I just want to see some fire emojis, please, here for the awesome Dr. Nancy Dome. I'm going to just highlight some names here for the prize draw. We have Wendy. Hello there, Wendy. Let us know where you're watching from. We've got Debbie from Michigan. We've got Cebu, if I've pronounced that correct, from Cameron, Missouri. We have Sandy. Let me know if I'm going too fast, Jess. We have Sandy. Hello there, Sandy from New York. And Susan in Montana. We have fire emoji coming up there. Thank you there, Salandra. And Janelle Turner-Reed from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm here from Croydon, quite close to London, from the UK. If I've got any UK people here, big up to you. Please do say hello. We know it's 2 o'clock here, but we're here ready to celebrate. So this evening is a celebration of not only a book, but of storytelling, healing and reflection, the courage it takes to share our truths with the world. So thank you again for being here to celebrate with us. We have Mariah here from Montana as well. Hello. Janelle is saying she's here from Oklahoma. Thank you so much. Shall we meet Nancy? I want to see at least 5 yeses while I introduce her. So we're going to begin with the evening with a conversation with Nancy. Epoch Education saying yes. So first of all, I first met Nancy, I think, in the online space just before lockdown, so around 2019. She had planned to come over to the UK to one of our workshops, and unfortunately, lockdown happened. But from there, we formed a very good relationship, and I've managed to interview her for 2 of her books now. Absolutely amazing. Love the work that she does. And I followed her work closely and had the privilege of interviewing her for her book. One of the things I admire most about Nancy is her incredible ability to look back at the past even the painful parts, and transform those experiences into wisdom and healing. I think Glimmers captures that so beautifully. If you've read it, please do just give me a yes in capitals, please. So as I welcome Dr. Dobe to the broadcast, I'd love everyone to fill the chat with your love and support for Nancy tonight. Let's bring her in.
Hey.
Hello there, Nancy. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Amazing. Thank you. Look at these amazing people here for you for your launch. It's fantastic.
That's amazing. Yeah, thank you.
So let's dive in, because I've got my questions. I know lots of people have their questions as well. So you're now an author of 3 books. Glimmers is very different to your other 2 books.
Yeah.
So how different was the experience of writing such a personal memoir compared to your previous books? And what inspired you to write it?
Yeah, I think this was a book that I was supposed to write in the beginning. It's a book that's kind of been in my heart for a long time. And I just didn't know how it was going to manifest. And as far as writing it, I think it was probably easier than all of them, because I actually just got to tell my story, right? It's going back, and all the stories that I've told over and over, or the stories that I had chosen not to remember, I got to kind of dig in and lean into those and tell them. So while there was definitely a lot more emotional kind of, ping-ponging going on with this one than with the other 2, it definitely was a healing, reflective, space that I really enjoyed being in. It was a pleasure. And I liked the idea. I never thought of short stories. I always thought it would be this kind of linear thing, but I realized that's how I tell the stories. They're always short stories, little clips, right? Little glimmers of my past that would come up, or something would trigger that, a song. And so it felt like it was the right time, and it was natural.
I think that's such a beautiful thing to do, to be able to write your own story, but also be able to look back and apply your own work to it. Yeah. So for anyone who's not familiar with your work, Compassionate Dialogue and the RIR protocol, could you just share a bit about what it is and how it works?
Yeah. So Compassionate Dialogue is a framework to have those important, difficult conversations, but to remember that we can, if we choose, do them with compassion and with empathy, seeking to understand. I think a lot of times we engage in conversations and we have an attachment to the outcome. We want someone to change, or we want something to be different. And Compassionate Dialogue is really about, how do I just focus on the process and not the outcome? And I think part of what happened was, I created and named this protocol while I was professor, and really felt like it initially came out of my research. But then I realized that I really had been living it, that it was a natural way for me to communicate, because I've always come from that place of empathy if I can. So then as I started looking back, I saw that it had really been living in me my entire life. And that was really neat. So to be able to bring my personal life and realize that there wasn't such a separation between what was happening to me personally and what I was living professionally.
And what would you say in terms of your memories and writing them? Can you pinpoint sort of one period of your life that you're able to really look back and learn from? I know there's so many, but is there one particular part in there that you can say?
Part 1, the beginning, where it all began, kind of, I think that was it, because I realized that, looking back at some of those experiences, I just kind of avoided them, mostly because I felt like I had resolved them, or they were dealt with. And so that was probably the ones that I remember, as I was talking to Jess as we were doing the editing of it, I would tell her, I was like, I didn't realize that this is what that was. Like, I found so much more understanding and compassion for not just my family, but also for, all the community, the village that was there around my brothers, that saw us as little sisters, that when I was little, I was resentful of, right? But that as I grew up, I realized what a blessing it was to have, 20 men looking out for you all the time, making sure that you're safe, making sure that, that no one was messing with you. It was just like things that I kind of took for granted, that I got to look back and really have a new appreciation, and particularly for my brothers.
It's quite a healing, transformational experience.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Yeah. So I'm going to bring Jess to the stage, Jess Berg. So before before you came to us, obviously, I know you worked together. Can you share a little bit about how that collaboration worked? Jess, you as editor, and Nancy, you as author.
Sure. I've partnered with Nancy on all of her books, and we have a great relationship. We developed a friendship, which I think enriches the final product. But essentially, it's very helpful to have a thought partner to get some of these things out so that they could make it onto the page, right? Ask questions, push back on ideas, to see pull the thread and see where it takes us. Because sometimes you might end up over here and that's really beautiful, but it's not where you thought you'd go, right? So Nancy and I have always had that sort of collaborative. It's been a conversation of ideas since the beginning, which as an editor, I always appreciate because I get to learn as well. I'm not just dictating, right? I get to learn. So
thank you. Nancy?
Yeah, I mean, she said it perfectly. I remember, I think one of the highlights is I was doing some pictures and some B-roll and I got to meet Jess in person for the first time after we had worked together for about a year or so. And she was so nervous, and I asked her to be interviewed, and she really did not want to do that. I don't know. Nope. But she did it, and I remember just being able to, like, having such a beautiful virtual relationship, and then being able to meet her in person. I was like, oh yeah, we come from the same tribe. We are very simpatico with each other, and she pushes me. She asks good questions. She challenges me. It really is that thought partnership that allows my writing to be better than it would on my own. But I've always believed that synergy, working together, we get more with each other than we do away from each other.
100%. I think that having the right team is so important, especially an editor, someone who really gets your work.
Yeah. It helps that I use compassionate. Like I have genuinely learned so much from it. I've seen the transformation that in using this in your life can lead to, and so that's why I'm like extra passionate about getting it out into the world, because I use it for myself. So that's helpful.
Yeah, I love that, because Jess we'll come into a writing session and Jess will be like, okay, I got to tell you what I did. I had to use it on someone, and this is what happened. And so I love, and it was even the same thing with your team, Danny, after your typesetter editor, was getting ready to typeset it. She wrote back like, this is good. Can you clarify this? And then she had a nice little paragraph after about how it impacted her just from reading it to get it ready for typesetting. And that's when I knew, because Jess knows me so well. So, we both think people will get it. But when that came back from your editor and she didn't know the context and she got it, it let both of us know that we were on track.
Yeah, definitely on track. And I have to say as well, I've actually been using Compassionate Dialogue. I tested it out, used it a few days ago. Actually, when people are online, they get a bit brave, and that's the thing. People kind of become desensitized and they forget there's actually humans
there. Yeah.
And somebody got really irate about something, and you could easily look at the person and say, oh, they're racist, they're this. I thought, well, let me try a bit of, okay, well, maybe you think that, but that's not what's. And at the end, he actually apologized. I'm like, oh my, but my natural reaction would be, but you can see how you can just really damage relationships with it. I think compassionate dialogue and the work that you do is so important. We've got a question already, and we've got Genesis as well. Hello, Genesis. I don't know if you need to be added to the project. We've got Red Oxtel here. He's asked a question. Have you ever worked well with somebody who had great energy, but then that togetherness goes? What do you do? Good question.
Yeah, so one of the things, I don't think I talk about it in this book, but I know for sure it's in, like, Let's Talk About Race. Or maybe it is this book where I talk about there's a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Is it this one?
This one.
Yeah. And I really think that we get attached to, we have these relationships and they work, they're beautiful, and whatever they are, professional, romantic, and we think that everything's supposed to last forever. And I think one of my biggest learnings was that everything doesn't last forever. So when that chemistry is no longer there, maybe that reason or that season is over. And part of our work is to gracefully let it go, to acknowledge the gift that it was to us, and then to let it go, not to continue to try to recreate something that doesn't exist anymore. And that has changed my life, because I get attached to people very easily. And I realize that, you know what, it doesn't diminish if this attachment is no longer there. It's okay. And so I think that's how Red Oxtail, that's how I do it. I mean, I just realized that it's really about sitting back and thinking, is this season over? You know, and it may well be.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's beautiful. A reason, a season, or a lifetime. And it doesn't mean that we can still appreciate that person, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that they brought to us. In fact, one of my favorite stories in here is about an ex-boyfriend, Andreas, and what he taught me. I was in my 20s, and I don't even know if he knows this. I don't even know if he'll ever read the book, but he was a reason in my life for sure. And I would not have changed that for anything.
Jess, do you have a favorite part in the book? I haven't asked you this.
Oh gosh.
I've thrown you in there, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, I have so many favorite parts. I think I would echo what Nancy said about the first part of the book, carrying a lot of weight in terms of like reaching people and being able to look back at your own childhood experiences, because I think that's the part that can feel sort of off limits or sort of like arm's length. It's harder to connect with that, and hearing Nancy move through those moments she has this great ability to just connect the dots with, you know, in the glimmer of hindsight, and to be able to say, oh, this happened, and then, but it meant this in the big picture, and this, right? Just to be able to draw those lines. I feel like we could all maybe reasonably do that for something that happened, I don't know, last year or something. But like, it's really hard to look back at those early moments and be able to draw those conclusions. So I think part one is my favorite. And also I love the photos.
Oh, the photos
I love the photos.
Beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah.
It really brings it to life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would have showed them today, but you've got to get the book.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments if you have a copy of the book. Please do. Please let us know. Jess, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to working with you guys again. I'm going to miss our emails.
Absolutely.
I've loved it. Thank you. So I'm going to take you out.
Okay.
Next, I'm going to bring in, I don't know if I can call them kiddos, but I know that Nancy calls them kiddos. And one of the things I really loved about the book in the introduction was you actually got to read live testimonials from former students that she's impacted. And I kind of got the sense that you're a firm but fair teacher and one who's much loved. I mean, this is, I don't know how many years later that they're here to support you, all three of them. I think that's absolutely fantastic. So if you're ready, I'm going to introduce, who should I start with? I'm going to go for Jeffrey Evans. If I'm going to I'd like to bring you in. If you could share your testimony, that would be amazing. Hello there, Jeff. I'm going to take myself out and let you have your moment. Oh, if you just take your...
You're muted, honey.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's so good to see you. You're so beautiful. Oh my gosh. I just love you.
I see you going over there too.
Thank you.
Okay, so I did not catch everything because a little bit of it broke up. Is this the portion where you like need to read, or would you like me to share part of our experience?
Yeah. If you can read, and then we'll talk after. Yes.
All right, folks. Let's get here. Let's get to the good stuff. All right. So I met Miss Dome during a very transformational period in my life. I was coming out of the closet in therapy to learn about things like compassion and empathy. I was also dealing with legal issues on top of a lot of stuff going on at home. It was just a lot. Coming up, I was bullied a lot and I would fight, but being in her class was impactful for me because in all the other places, I felt weird and like I didn't belong. Miss Dome gave me a way to start to take who I was out into the world and actually be okay with that, to be okay with myself. She took us out to the beach, to lots of places outside the classroom, all to show us what else was outside and what was out there in the world. I've come a long way. In the past, I've worked with people who were prior offenders, which I have. In that role, you have to be able to see beyond whatever is going on at the moment. Not everyone knows how to turn the negative things that happen to them into something positive. That's what we're all kind of having to think about right now in the world because we are being confronted with our histories and we have to be able to sit in the message that we've made. That's hard. I really believe we need to be able to have conversations with people face to face, no matter who they are or what they've done. It's a very personal thing to cut someone out or write someone off when you can see them as a person, when you can't see them, and when you can see them as a person instead of fitting some profile or fitting some mold. If we're not careful, we can turn people into profiles before we even meet them, which doesn't get us anywhere. I'll be honest, I may not have met Miss Stone for the best of reasons or one that I'm proud of, but you take the good with the bad, and that's life. She's one of the reasons why I still write poetry, why I started rapping, and why I do the work that I do. I don't sit here like I like everybody, but I do try to love everybody because what else is
I love that. I love that. When I
there? Yes,
read
ma'am.
that, it just you never get to see always the impact that you've had on someone's life. And I know that we've been in touch over the years, in and out, but always kind of knew where each other was. But we never really talked about like your life after court schools, right? And after that. And so when I read that, it just was one of those things that, because I was young too, you know what I mean? I was probably only about probably less than 10 years older than you guys at that time. And
Really? Yes.
yeah, yeah, I was in my mid 20s.
Oh yeah, I
And
know that. I know that age now.
yeah. And so, I was just hoping I was doing it right, that I wasn't breaking something. So it
Absolutely,
makes me
absolutely not.
it makes me emotional, but in a good way. Like I love it. So how do you I have a question for you. How do you think looking back at your past helps you understand more about who you are today?
Um, I think looking back at my past helps and you have to excuse me, I'm right next to the train outside the city. But my past, if anything, helps me as a reference point to where I am currently.
Yeah.
It lets me understand how far I have come as a person and how many things I have overcome. And it gives me the strength to still be here today because I understand how much I was going through at that time in my life when I met you, how much I've been through since then, and the fact that I am still here, I am still sane. I am not deep in some hovel or some hole somewhere, and I have had to dig myself out and transform several times. So it is definitely an anchor for me.
Yeah.
I get the chance to reach back to that like a torch and use that to light what I have going on right now and use that to light my way on my path right now when things get dark because we are in a pretty dark time right now in this world.
Yeah. Yeah. I am so proud of you. I really
Thank
am.
you,
It
lady.
just,
I'm
yeah.
proud of you too.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
You
you.
are welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that was beautiful. What a beautiful testimony. That's so lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Jeff. We're going to have a conversation with
Thank
all of
you.
you after I bring in the next person. So thank you, Jeff. We're going to bring you back in a second.
You are very welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to bring in Sam. Hello, Sam.
Hey.
Hi. Thank you
How
for
are you?
having me.
Of course. Thank you for being here. I have, you're probably the one I see the most of because of your profile on Facebook. And so I've just been so proud of your businesses that you've started and, just, and I know that it's been a struggle too, and we'll talk a little, but you just keep keeping on your beautiful kids. I'm so proud of you, but I need to stop talking. I need to let you read your little intro. So
Thank you.
could you
I'm
read that
so
for us,
happy to be
please?
here, and I appreciate you for having me and thinking
Of
of me.
course.
So I'll just tell you a little bit how I felt back then when I first got to meet Dr. Dome. I was down bad back then, but Miss Nancy kept showing up, even when we were abrasive to her in the classroom. So many people had given up on us, but she still chose us. Every day she came back and she chose us. She tried to understand us and give us space over time. I grew to love her like no other. Her personality is very direct, and that made me want to earn the energy she was putting out into us. She never let our situations determine how she treated us. Miss Nancy taught me that I have value. She taught me that you have to give yourself grace. And she taught me that no matter how hard life gets, you've got to keep going because it can get better. She taught me to live life out loud and be proud of who I am and where I come from. Excuse me. This is always says. Even though it wasn't always pretty, that's what has made me who I am today.
Yeah, I love you. I love you. Thank you.
I struggle with this all the time, talking to you.
I'm so proud of you. Yeah. So my question for you is, why do you think giving compassion to ourselves and to others matters in the big picture?
Because you never really know what can be. We're looking for something in others. We're looking for who we are in others when all we have to do is really search from within. I give grace and compassion now on a daily basis based on the business that I'm in, because I too had a life I walked after leaving you and coming to LA. It was a time where I didn't have, it's a time where I was in a very bad spot, but I learned to go back and just rebuild, start from scratch. It's okay. I reinvented myself probably about 4 times, and now I know who I am today.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so proud. You are so strong, and you had to put up with so much. And, I think the piece that really got me is that, you had me laughing when you're talking about everyone acting a fool basically in the classroom. Cause I remember some of those days and I'm like, I'm gonna hurt somebody, but I believed in you all so much. And what was amazing is that what I learned quickly was that, like, I had to show you what was possible for yourself, and then you guys figured it out, and then you just took off with it. Like, and I remember our classroom being, people would walk in, they're like, you teach those kids. I'm like, these kids are friggin' amazing. And when you would walk in, it was such this beautiful environment, right, to be in, together, and everyone looking out for each other, people from opposing gangs sitting in there, helping each other out, doing things. And that, that for me, looking back, reading your thing, it kind of reminded me of some of the struggles. I get to see the proud things now, but it was tough because I was 26 when I was doing that. So I was trying to figure it out myself.
And you had us together. You definitely held us together like glue. That classroom was where everything from the outside subsided.
Yeah.
We were safe here. We were able to talk about the things that were, making us fearful, and without judgment. Yeah, it was always without judgment, and we never felt like you were going to take our hurt, our pain, and use it against us.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we can thank my grandma for the discipline.
Well, thank you, Grandma.
No, seriously, great. So, well, thank you, Sam. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for making time for us. And we're going to bring everyone back together, but we'll finish with Vesna before we do that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I love you.
Sam, I'm not ready to come back. It just goes to show that it just takes that one person to really care. It's not just about teaching. It's about that creating that safe space. And I think that's something that's really come through today, Nancy. And, I think that's beautiful. You can affect one person, and Sam, you can go on to affect millions of people. You don't know how far that reach goes. So I'm honored.
Need a Nancy.
We've got Debbie here saying, I did not expect to be crying during this book launch.
I'm sorry, Miss Debbie.
I think that was before even when Jeff was speaking. Taylor saying, thanks, Jeff, for sharing your story. So, thank you so much, Sam. I'm going to bring you back in a bit.
Okay.
I think before we bring on Vesna, should we have the first prize draw? Yeah, I can see Jess there shaking the old tin. Okay, let's bring her up. Come on, Jess. Can we see some fire emojis going up there? Just so we can get the atmosphere.
So this is for a book. Okay. We have 3 drawings for books and then a grand prize drawing at the end. This is Dr. Renee Level. Is Dr. Renee Level here?
Oh, she's from Jamaica. She's one of my people.
Oh, wow.
Are you here?
Are you here? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, I don't think she's here.
All right.
Sorry, Renee.
Mervyn Weir.
Oh, that's one of mine.
Okay.
Mervyn from the UK. You're not up now.
Yeah, because it's 2 a.m. there.
Yes.
Register for the replay.
Wendy Neary from San Diego.
Yeah, Wendy's here.
Wendy.
I see her at 7:04. You still here, Wendy?
There we go.
Hey. Okay, beautiful. Okay.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
So, Wendy, would you email the details or?
Yeah.
I have Wendy's details, so I can do that. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Jess. I'm now going to bring on our third and final kiddo, former student. Let's say hello to Vesna. Hello, Vesna.
Hey. How are you, sweetheart?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, really well. Very clear.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with you reading your piece, and then we'll have a little chat after. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay.
I was probably in the 10th or 11th grade when I met Nancy. There was a lot of gang violence, a lot of drugs back then. My parents are refugees from the genocide in Cambodia. They didn't know how to raise kids in America, and I felt alone. I got mixed up with some bad stuff, and my life was about survival. When Nancy showed up as the new teacher, I figured it would be the same as every other teacher. I'm not going to lie. I would be asleep in her class a lot. I slept in a lot of classes back then. Sometimes the teacher would yell. Sometimes they would embarrass or ridicule me for it. Nancy is the first teacher who pulled me out to the hallway and said something like, "I'm not happy about you sleeping in my class, but I want you to know, but I want to know what's going on. I'm here to help you. You can talk to me." I still had a hard time trusting adults, but that opened the door. Soon we started talking about who I was and what I was going through. I wanted to become a better student for her. She helped me see the world differently. She made me feel like there are people out there who genuinely care for you, even if they're not blood. Because of Nancy, I got my GED early. I would never have ever even taken the test if she hadn't pushed me and helped me out. One thing I took from Nancy was that people will be acting up, but there's a reason. There's something underneath all of it. When I looked back at my parents as a parent now myself with 3 daughters, I can see their sacrifice. I can see how hard it was for them not speaking the language, trying to make it. I have to forgive them, and I have to forgive myself for us to move forward. I think the world needs more compassion. That's it. More compassion for ourselves and other people. That's everything. If you think about it, that's everything.
I love that. I love you. Thank you. Look at you all making me cry. It's nice, I read them, and it's so nice to hear you read them, right? To hear you and your voice. And you, when I read yours, the whole spirit of Sankofa is what this book is about looking back to move forward. And I love that you talked about like understanding your parents, later as you got older, and understanding their sacrifices to get you here, to have you have the life that you have now. And giving yourself grace and giving yourself compassion on your journey. I feel so blessed. I got to see you in January for the first time in a few years, and meet two of your beautiful girls and your wife for the first time. And I remember when you sent me that picture years ago when they were little, and I was like, oh, paybacks are a bitch, man. Because you were a hot mess when you were in high school. And you got but you're doing such a good job. I just loved watching you with them, and just watching the parent that you became and have become, and watching the husband that you are. You make me, I mean, all of you make me so proud. And I just feel just so lucky that I get to be here with you. So thank you.
Thank you.
We talk a lot, so I feel like I know more, but when I think about that, like even now, are your parents still with us? That I don't know. Are they still alive with us?
My dad is still around. My mom passed away in May.
Oh, I'm sorry about I didn't know that. Yeah. So
in April. Sorry.
In April. So just recently.
Yeah. Just recently.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I mean, honestly, she was battling a lot of stuff, hospitalized all the time, and I went to go visit her once, for Christmas in LA, and she was in a lot of pain, and the whole night she would moan and stuff. So I don't know how to explain it, but it was kind of like a good and bad thing,
She's let her put her. I see her.
It was a good. I mean, it's like nobody wants their mom to pass away or be gone, but at the same time, I just kind of felt relief for her because I know how much pain she was in.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the healing too, right? Is that understanding and how nice to have had that healing before she passed too, right? Yeah, to be in that space. Yeah. Oh, so I think we're going to bring everyone back together and just kind of do it. Thank you. I'll see you soon.
I just want to say to all three of you, you're absolutely incredible. I've met you for 15 minutes. I'm so inspired. Everyone here watching as well has got lots of comments. Is here. Love from Debbie. Susan Ellis is saying beautiful. Jess is saying wow. Thank you for sharing your story, Vesna, with such vulnerability. I'm tearing up. Taylor saying wow. Thanks, Vesna. So
what's up, Taylor?
I think you guys need to have an in-person reunion.
Yeah, well, we were talking about that backstage. That now that Jeff and Vesna are in San Diego and Sam is in LA, we're going to figure it out when I get back out there to get together and just spend some time together. And we have another friend of mine, Penny, who they all know as well, who was a teacher for court school. So we're gonna have a little reunion and just catch up in real time and get some hugs.
That would be fantastic. Absolutely. That would be beautiful.
Yeah.
We've got Sandy saying, Nancy Dome for world leader. She will fix this place. Agreed.
Don't put me in that mess, Sandy. I'm trying to just do this.
Oh, gosh, there's a lot going on right now.
I need some support. Well, I mean, I know that we have other stuff we have to do, but is there anything that you three want to put into the space before we have you sign off and we move on to the next part? I'm just so grateful that you all showed up. And but is there anything each of you want to put into the space before we leave?
I just want to say thank you, for being in my life.
Yes.
And that's very important to me. I always think about you all the time, and I just feel like I owe everything to you because of what I have now, of who I am and who I've become, is pretty much, you were a big part of it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
second that.
I
I tell you all the time, like, if it wasn't for you, literally, and I say this all the time, you handed me over to Miss Penny, you guided my life with Miss Penny, you made sure that I was going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
I
was
think
so
that's one
hard.
of the hardest things is knowing when I've done all I can, but making sure that you were in the right hands to take it the next step, right? And that Penny, if there was any Penny and Eddie, if I was going to hand any of my kids to anybody, it was going to be one of those two. And so I knew it was the right thing. I don't know that we always felt it was the right thing because it was hard to leave, but
Yeah, it was hard. And, dealing with like how my mom would do Miss Penny, like you guys were. Without you too, I probably wouldn't even finish high school.
yeah. And look at you now, business owner, entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You're rocking it. So proud. So proud.
But I always look to you guys. You guys are
Congrats
perfect
on
for
that.
me. Perfect for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
And I just want to be up flowers and tell you thank you very much. And then that's where I met Jeffrey and everything. And, and I just want to thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And you too, lady. I was glad to meet you too.
Yeah.
I want to tell you personally, lady, thank you very much. You provided one of the first really strong role models that I had in my life. You and Miss Harwood, y'all were so absolutely amazing at what you did. And I have met so many people since then who have given me the true understanding of meeting people where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And that is extremely important, especially in the work that I've been in and in the work that I'm going back into. Because I may be entering the nonprofit ring again here soon. And you guys just showed us a love and a compassion that I think sometimes I don't even know if you guys realize how important that is. But it was extremely important, especially in that kind of environment where we could have been treated any kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And have anybody trying to talk to us any kind of way and think that we didn't know anything. And you guys made sure to water our flowers and made sure that when we walked out of that door, that we understood that we meant something to someone in this world, along with the other people who were in our lives, but definitely so. So I appreciate you, lady. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Well,
you a lot.
thank you. Thank you all. It's you gave me equal gifts, and we'll talk about those off because I ain't gonna cry no more, and I know we gotta move on. But yeah, it wasn't a one-way street. You all are part of creating who I am today too. So I thank you all for being there and for being my teacher as well. So
You got it.
You're welcome.
all right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I'll see
Thank
you later.
Nice to meet you, Danny.
Lovely to meet you. Lovely to meet you. Okay. So,
Oh,
thank you. I think we're ready for another prize draw. What do you think?
yeah, I think so.
Let's
think
bring
so.
Jess in. Jess,
Hey,
what's
I'm ready.
going on in that tin?
Okay. Janelle Reed.
Ah,
Ooh.
Janelle Reed. Is Janelle Reed here?
Janelle,
She's
you here,
here.
Janelle? I know Wendy's here.
she was there from Oklahoma. Is she
Yeah,
still here?
She was here in the beginning. I saw her.
Should be. I'm sure you type it up.
If you're still here, can you type in? Oh.
Meanwhile, we've got Niska saying so beautiful and inspiring. Thank you for your stories, and thank you, Dr. Nancy, for all you give. Or I fourth that.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think she might have turned out, so you might need to pick another name.
Lauren Odell.
Lauren Odell. Is Lauren still
Odell?
here?
Lauren Odell.
Sandy Pollock.
Yeah, she just commented. Is Sandy still here?
Sandy's the one who just said for
Yeah,
Will.
she just said, yeah.
Sandy's here. Okay.
Sandy, okay.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jess. So we're now going to move on swiftly to, so it's all about you now, Nancy, and your favorite part of your book. So we're going to have a reading from Nancy from the chapter Dead Zone.
Okay. So I picked the Dead Zone, and Janelle, if you're on, this is for you. Okay, so this is in part 1 where it's where it all began, and it's called The Dead Zone, Creating an Environment of Joy. Growing up, I like to say we were pretty much vegetarians, not because we didn't eat meat, but because we didn't have a lot of money for it. Mostly, we had government cheese, a lot of rice, canned vegetables, milk, and sugar cereal. This didn't feel like a problem to me because it is what I knew. I was fed, and I just assumed all families ate that way. But every now and then, one of my brothers would get a hold of a chunk of change, and they would buy a large box of hamburger patties. When the meat was in the freezer, it was glorious. It was also the time when all for one became every person for themselves. We knew that meat wasn't going to last long with 5 people living in the house, or more, depending on who was sleeping on the floor. So you didn't just make yourself a burger, you made yourself a triple decker. That case wasn't going to last, and we all wanted our share. In the beginning, everyone did share. But when the box started getting low, it would become a feeding frenzy. We start hiding burgers. Maybe you'd stash one in the box of waffles at the back of the freezer, for instance. It was a losing game, though. The freezer only had so many hiding spaces, and we knew them all and used them. One day, Dora, Janelle, and I got off the bus on Santa Monica and Edinburgh, 1 block away from our house in Laurel. We all knew there was 1 burger left. So as soon as our feet hit the pavement, we bolted in different directions. To get home, we could take the sidewalks, we could hop a fence and run through a neighbor's backyard, or we could skirt around an apartment complex. Dora and I were the athletes, tall, strong, fast. So I was sure one of us would make it home first. Somehow, though, it was Janelle, fit in her own right, but not athletic, who got there first. To this day, I have no idea how she did it. Dora and I watched, mouths watering, as she put her burger on the griddle. When she went to flip it, she pulled from Eddie Murphy's stand-up special, Delirious, the part where he says, "I have some ice cream. I have some ice cream. You don't have no ice cream. You didn't get none." Instead, though, she's saying, "I got a hamburger. I got a hamburger, and you didn't get none." In the skit, the ice cream falls from the cone during Eddie's taunt. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. Janelle didn't know it then, but her burger would suffer the same fate. And as she went to flip it, it landed straight in what we called the dead zone, the corner of the kitchen that was impossible to clean because it was right where the stove and the refrigerator touched. So it was full of grease and hairy dust. Dora and I all but collapsed in laughter. The poetic justice. But Janelle, this itty-bitty thing, climbed back there, got the burger, rinsed it off in the sink, put it back on the griddle, and started to sing again as if nothing happened. Dora and I just stared at her in disbelief. First, we were disgusted, but as we started to smell the meat cooking, we were envious all over again. It was absurd, but there was so much joy in that moment. This is important to note about my upbringing. As crazy as it was, my family really did provide a safe space for us to grow up in their own way. I didn't feel poor. There were things I wanted and knew I couldn't have, sure, but the love in our home made up for that. It didn't really matter if Ricky and I didn't get along all the time, or if Dora and I had our spats. We created joy in pockets. It didn't really matter if we didn't have a ride home from practice, or if a teacher at school had subpar expectations of us. We found support in those pockets. I always knew there was there were a handful of caring adults whom I could turn to for help. And funnily enough, it was never really about money. Connection, compassion, and discourse are the currencies we need more of then and today. The truth is that growing up, I didn't really experience much deficit thinking about who I was or what I could be. The focus wasn't on what I didn't have, or the focus wasn't on what I didn't have. We had what we had, and the situation was normal to me. I knew there was a bit of difference, but I didn't necessarily see a problem with that difference. Looking back, I can see that being poor was our circumstance, but it didn't feel like an indication of who we were, both in terms of how we viewed ourselves or how our community viewed us. It works both ways too. If children grow up privileged and have things handed to them, it sets unrealistic expectations for the world and doesn't give them the skills they need to survive. When we perpetuate those stereotypes about not only rich versus poor from an economic lens, but also a capabilities lens, we perpetuate the mentality that harms people in both groups. As I think about the work I do today, shifting this mentality from viewing poverty as an indictment or marker of character and capacity and capability to a circumstance that can be addressed is crucial for creating the change we want to see. So that's the part I chose. And Janelle, who was on this, was the one who beat us to the burger. And I've told this story. It's one of the family stories that has and will go down in history.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, whilst you're reading that, I think we've got Janelle here. Janelle Genesis, is this you? She's saying, I'm here, I'm her.
Oh, okay.
And then she says, thank you for sharing our truth. So Genesis, are you Janelle?
Well, she was under Janelle, but that might be.
Yeah, but she's saying that she's here when we did the draw.
Okay.
So
then we'll get one for her too. Yeah.
And if this story is about you, let us know.
It is. If that's her, it's about her. And yeah, it was incredible. And literally to this day, I still don't know how she did it. I really don't. I didn't even think she was in the running, but I guess when there's a will, there's a way. That speaks to that more than anything.
That's beautiful. And so when you were writing that piece, what kind of memories came up for you as you were writing it?
Oh, I just, I laughed. Yeah. I just laughed because, that's, like I said, my husband, I've told him that story because Janelle came out to Montana to meet us and visit, and they've met several times. And so he's heard the story several times. And he said, even reading it, it just brought back us telling the story. And it's even funnier when we're in the same space, when my sister and Janelle, all three of us are telling the story, because we all have a different memory of it, right? But at the end of the day, I think, it brings back Eddie Murphy. It brings back all the laughter from watching Delirious. And, it just brings back so many, really, it is, those moments of joy in the chaos, right?
That actually would make a great short film. So like all different perspectives, just recreating that scene.
Yeah.
Watch this space. Maybe that's the next project.
There you go.
Okay, I could go on for ages, but I'm just going to ask people, if you have any questions for Nancy, please do. This is the time to throw those questions up. We have one final guest. We'll be joined by Dr. Eddie Fergus. He's a professor of urban education and policy at Rutgers University, acclaimed author and leading voice in educational equity, race, and resilience. His work has helped shape conversations around justice, belonging, and opportunity in schools and communities across the US. And we're honored to have him here in conversation with Dr. Nancy Dome. And I want to find out first your origin story. How did you meet? So I'm going to bring you up.
Yeah, and I'm going to have Eddie, because I want to hear Eddie's perspective of the origin story, because I know how I felt, but I want to hear you tell it, like when we first met.
So I have to say, I love this conversation, listening to this, hearing your students kind of share their impressions of how you impacted their soul. Like that is just, I think there's something special about just people sharing sort of the ways in which we've touched each other, right? And I think that was just beautiful, right? Because we rarely get to hear that. So
Yeah.
So it's funny. So I'm sitting here, I'm listening, and I'm like, when did I meet Nancy? So I am a Dropbox fiend. So everything I have done for the last 15 years lives in Dropbox. So I said, okay, and I have everything super organized.
Okay.
So I have a folder for California, and every year I'm in California. So I was just going through the folders, and I said, I'm going to find Nancy. I noticed on one of these agendas, that's when I met Nancy. So I found it. October 13th, 2015.
Wow.
In Palm Springs. Okay. That's when we met.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me how you think we met.
Because you came in to do this workshop. And I had heard about you.
Okay, it was Palm Springs. I just didn't think it was in Palm Springs. I thought it was in Napa. Sorry.
Exactly. See, thank you. We did at the later point.
Yeah.
But this Palm Springs, I was thinking, I was like, no, because I kept thinking, yes, it was Northern California. I was like, no, I remember it being Southern California. So, because I remember the hotel, and I remember, in the setup, and then they're like, oh, because I had heard about you, and the whole time, the team hadn't really said that you were Black, and I said, okay, Nancy's Black. I said, I know she's Black. Okay, so when you walk in, and I said, oh, okay. I said, and all I was told is we're gonna experience a workshop from Nancy. I said, okay, what's this about? Like, and so the way in which you kind of had us dialoguing, particularly sort of having us, posing that question regarding how we kind of sort of manage sort of racialized dialogue, right? And the way in which you had us do it. It was as somebody who has done and continues to do this work, I am very mindful of that there is a careful craft to that. Not that we're trying to shield or create comfort for particularly when we're talking about marginalized communities sort of talking to non-marginalized communities, that there is a way in which we want to make sure that there is a healing that's emerging. And so I remember walking away, I was just like, I really like the way she is approaching, right? And so that's when you talk to us about compassionate dialogue. And in some ways, I mean, I'll be honest, at first I was like, at that time I was a little bit of no, we need to rip the Band-Aid off. No more compassion. I'm done. Right. And because, we were in the throes of a potential election that was happening. Right. So I was not in the headspace to desire compassion, but you insisted upon it.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that. And that's, and so moving forward, I've always, and as I said, as we were setting up, wherever I go, I am, I was with the district a couple of months ago, and they said, they were talking about, of course, an incident that happened, and they're going to process it out loud with me. I said, okay, so let's use the RIR protocol here. Okay, Eddie, yes, you've told us about this. I said, yes, and I've told you to get the book. Okay, so let's go through this. Let's recognize. Let's talk about the interruption. Let's talk about the repair. Right.
Yeah.
And it was. And I think what's in some ways, and there's so many instances of this that I've experienced in terms of your work, is that folks get so caught up in the telenovela of the incident, like they want to tell the details and what the story of it. And I'm like, I said, so how do we dialogue through this?
Yeah,
right? Because and that's where in reading the chapters that you shared of Glimmers, and I so appreciate it, particularly the chapter where you talked about your father, right? Because I got my own father issues, I'm 4 years into therapy, I'm still working on it, right? But it was so poignant because there was something, what I appreciated about reading Glimmers is that I got a window seat into seeing not only the stories, but how you manage to dialogue through it, right? Because that is, for me, especially whenever I read things that are about sort of, father sort of conditions and experiences, I'm always I'm in a learner mode.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking for ways in which to process and heal and moving forward. And I think, that's how I experience Glimmers, right? It's, you're giving us a window seat into how you've done it over the years.
Yeah. And how I even did it through the writing of the book. Right. Like coming to those, it's funny. There was one chapter I wrote, names will not be mentioned, but it still had all the vitriol in it that it did 10 years ago. And I'm like, and I remember, Jess looked at it and she's like, she's like, I was like, I can't give this much energy to it. Right. And two, I've obviously still have healing to do on this, right? And so I was like, okay, we're gonna time out from this story, and I'm just gonna sit and I'm gonna rewrite it, but really take time to use the protocol internally and heal myself in this moment. And I tell you, the energy, like I can literally, that process, and it took me probably about, I don't know, a couple hours to rewrite it, because I really had to think about what was still bothering me, what had I not addressed yet, what was still triggering me every time I heard the name or I did something. And I was able to forgive. And I heard this thing about forgiveness. It was like, forgive myself for my anger, right? It's not about forgiving you, it's about forgiving myself for what I'm carrying in me, and what I've allowed to happen to me, right? And so and that's kind of, all of the stories were kind of like that, right? We're kind of that looking back and finding these little pockets of healing that still needed to happen, right? That I thought were healed. But I am going to say one thing to the origin story. What I remember that you don't remember is that you kind of have this attitude, like, what's she going to teach me?
I wonder if you're going to
totally. That's what I remember, because I remember seeing your face in that room when we had all these facilitators in there. So, and it was a tad bit intimidating, because all of you do what I do, right? And you all do it at a high level like I do. And so it's like a trainer of the trainer. But you didn't know my work, and I just remember you, like literally sitting back with your lips all pursed up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this one, and I picked someone. I was like, I'm gonna get this one. This is the one that if I can get him on board, I got them on board. So that's the only piece that I disagree with, or I should say that you omitted.
Right, I did omit it, because I do remember. I was like, oh, because when they were like hyping you up, and I said, oh, okay. I said, okay, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. Okay. But I loved it. I was just like, by the end, I was like, oh, okay, I'm a Nancy fan. I said, yeah, how can I help? What can I do? Right.
And you have proven that for years. I can't believe it was 2015. So here we are now, right?
I know. That's why I was like,
yeah,
at least 10 years. I'm like, where is, so
no, that's amazing.
Yeah. I want to comment. I mean, I really love that you acknowledge that particular sort of, and shall say, stay nameless.
Yeah.
Right? Particularly because you're not the only one that it's happened to, that I know.
Yeah.
And there is something about that individual carries continuous pain and just ripples it across folks. Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that you were acknowledging, like, there's still something there, and I need to find a forgiveness, right? Yeah. And I remember a quote I heard years ago is, forgiveness is a gift that you give yourself. Right? And to just relinquish it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not an easy journey. And I think you're right. The fact that you went through a writing.
Oh, I did. And I would have told you I was over it, mm-hmm. And that's a piece. It's like, I was over it until I wasn't, until it showed up in paper. And I was like, if I had left that in the book, it would have, and it's towards the end of the book, because that's my later life. Right.
Right.
It would have just messed up the whole message. I'm like, but I think it's also, I think it was important for Glimmers too, to see, people say, well, the protocol didn't work, and they need to see also the struggles with it. Like, it's not easy. Compassionate dialogue is not warm and fuzzy. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a happy ending. I always say repair is sometimes divorce. Right. And so we I wanted to also show that there can be things that are unresolved for decades that need healing because they still have such a grip on you, and that we have to give that healing to ourselves. We cannot expect that healing to come from an external source. It's for me to heal. And actually, in that moment of writing that one of those last stories, I was like, oh, I just released its power, you know, and that was like work in action. Like that's a protocol in action.
Right, exactly. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. We could talk all day. I could listen to you all day. And I suddenly remembered I'm hosting this. So it's been amazing. And it's great to see how the work can actually break cycles. And if you can get Eddie on board, here we go. and thank you so much for such such a beautiful review. Thank you.
Yes, it's wonderful. I always, you know, I love, you know, and Nancy knows it's like I've been from the time we kind of met. I was like, Nancy, I can see your stuff in print. I'm like, I said, you got this. And I mean, you just this is your third one in what, 5 years?
4 years, yeah.
4 years.
4 years, yeah.
I was like, damn. Okay, now.
Well, yeah, please.
I love
don't look up Dr. Eddie Fergus because you'll see his prolific writing. So yes,
so I'm going to check you out, Eddie, definitely.
With his 7 books or whatever it is. But
and I want to say, I literally just ordered the book as I was sitting here. I was like, okay, let me go on Amazon.
Yes. Well, what I have done is I have put it in the chat for those who've seen. Today only, please, let's make Nancy a bestseller on Amazon. Let's do it. And we can do it by getting a copy of her Kindle. I've put the link in the chat on YouTube and on Facebook. Please, or just go over to Amazon.com. The Kindle is down to $2.99 just for today. If you all get a copy, you can really help with the visibility. And like Eddie, please leave a review. It'd be really appreciated.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much, Eddie. I'm going to take you out.
Thank you.
I love you. Thank you.
Love you too. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
So we have 2 questions from the audience, and then we're going to jump to the prize, the grand finale. Please do get your copy of the Kindle now. That would be great. Janelle's saying I was hungry.
I know, I saw that.
So she's asking, Janelle's asking, how did you come about the title and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, you know, I have to give that one to Jess 100% for the Glimmers, because as I was telling these stories and we were writing the stories, she said, I think it's Glimmers. They felt, you know, because I was thinking spark or, you know, something like that, or just like, you know, and it's going to kind of answer the other one about Sankofa. I was really trying to, you know, that Sankofa imagery was really in my head about like, and my grandmother, about looking back and honoring the past to move forward, and to also to give that honoring too, right? To praise them for what they've done for me. And yeah, there it is. And so she's like, I think it's a glimmer. And I was like, yes. Like the minute I heard it, you know, when you just know, she's like, I think it's Glimmers. And then, you know, then all the rest came, you know, I'm the master at the subtitles, you know, they're always long. Let's talk about race has a mini paragraph subtitle. This one has a, you know, what, essays on race and historical trauma, the origins of compassionate dialogue, and the power of unconditional love.
It's got all the key words in it though. It's great. You know exactly what the book is. It's perfect.
It does all of that. Yeah. So yeah, and then, you know, and this is a shout out. So I was in Ghana in March, and I had already Sankofa. We had already started working on the book and the cover. I already knew it was what inspired me, but until I went to Ghana, that's when it lived in me. That's when I was like, oh, I was thinking about just looking back at my life, and then I got to look back at my ancestors and where we came from. And that was a moment of really having it make sense why this book had to be in the spirit of Sankofa, was just acknowledging that there is such that historical trauma piece, but also that joy, the resilience and the power and the strength and the love that that has been handed down, and through all the pain, there's still love and joy, that's handed down. And so when I came back, it was like a nod, a spiritual nod, from my ancestors that said, you got it. You went back and got it. You know what I mean? And so, yeah.
That's beautiful. And I love what you said. It's about you healing yourself as an individual by looking back, but also healing communities and nations. And I think if we could all look back on our past and be able to learn from it and move forward in a positive way, there'd be so much, the world would be a completely different place. Just to say, oh, that gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh gosh, so we've reached the grand finale. I'm going to bring you on, Jess, for the final. I want to see lots of fire emojis here now. Going to win Dr. Nancy Dome here live with you at your book reading community group.
The grand prize is an hour with Dr. Dome at your book club, or reading something, an hour with you, with Nancy live, virtually,
unless you're in Montana.
Yeah, virtually.
Make that clear.
Okay.
In Western Montana.
So I'm gonna hit these, and if you're here, holler in the chat, say something in the chat so I don't keep going. Okay. Susan Ellis.
Oh my goodness.
Ellis.
Are you still here, Susan?
Susan, give us a shout out if you're here.
I don't see it.
Okay.
Minutes.
Judith.
Oh, no.
She's here. Oh, okay, Susan. Okay.
Oh, fantastic.
Grand prize winner. Oh,
amazing.
I had a really fun job at this. I have Vanna White or something.
It is pretty fun, isn't it?
It is fun.
Pretty fun.
It is fun.
Brilliant. Oh. I just want to say to everyone as well, this is going to be available on the replay, so please do share this with your network. This is of value, pure value here in just 1 hour, so please do share this out with people. It's available for replay. Dr. Nancy Dome, it has been an absolute pleasure. I cannot believe we've got to the end of the book launch. We could go on and on and on. I personally want to say it has been an absolute pleasure for myself and the whole team. Like all of us have loved working with you. It's been an honor. From the editor to the designer, we've all learned something from you and your work and your book. And like I say, I've been using it on social media.
I love it.
I love
it. Oh, you know what? Susan wants us to redraw.
Oh, okay. Let's read that.
I have to come. She's my sister-in-law.
Okay. Okay. Cher Loberg.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
Cher?
Cher. Yeah, Cher Loberg. Yay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Perfect.
So I'll actually get to do a live one. She's in my community.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's worked out perfectly. So I think to end, again, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you so much, Jess. Thank you so much, Dr. Nancy Dome, and our amazing guests. I'm going to bring us all on the stage, I think, to have a group photo.
Yes.
I think that would be great.
Yes.
But
please.
To end, I just want everyone to think about, how you can embrace the spirit of Sankofa in your own life. What can you look back at in the past and learn from? And also, what are your glimmers?
And thank you, Danny, for hosting this, by the way.
And for being up at 2 a.m. class. And
you've been amazing to partner with.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay, let's have Vesna. We've got Sam. We've got
Jeff signed out.
Oh yeah, Jeff has to go. Okay.
We could superimpose Jess on that. Where's Eddie?
He may have had to sign out too.
Okay, no worries.
He's in a different 3 hours different too.
It's 10:15 for him.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Oh, really?
He should have stayed on because look at that Daniela.
Danny can do it.
Listen, in half an hour, I'm going to be asleep. So, okay. What we can do is we can find a way to superimpose their faces on, maybe. Okay. So on 1, we're going to say glimmers. 3, 2, 1, glimmers. Perfect.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you all so much.
For anyone who is new to Nancy and your work, where can people find out more about your work and what you do and what you're up to next?
Well, I'm just getting caught up right now, so this was a big launch. But they can follow us on Dr. Nancy Dome. That's drnancydome.com/glimmers, and check out my other work. Check out where I'm speaking. And just, we'd love to hear from you. I know one of the things Jess and I have been talking about was actually asking people to share their glimmers with us, and that we'd actually like them to maybe submit them and kind of get a hashtag going, like, you know, my glimmer, and kind of create a movement. I think that's something I really would like to get behind. So I'd love to invite anybody to do that. You don't have to have my book. It's just about share your glimmer. What's a glimmer for you? Yeah. And then we'd like to put those out and just build a movement around that. So
perfect. Thank you so much. But do get the book.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah, but
get all your friends and family. Sorry, I just thought. Jess, do you have a copy of your book?
Oh, yes, I do.
Let's do another one with the books.
Yeah, and the kids don't have theirs yet because I'm waiting for my author's copies, but they'll have theirs.
Perfect.
Nice, Nessa.
Signed copy.
Yep.
Oh, like you're on it already. I love it. I love it.
He's like, wait, we can just put the book in there. We'll just stick it in there.
I gotta manifest it, you know.
Okay.
There you go.
I like that. I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to take a picture.
We're doing it. Okay.
3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Awesome.
Right, everyone, thank you so much. You've been amazing. I'm going to leave, but I'm going to let you know if you want to stay behind and chat. But thank you, everybody, so much. We're going to end the live now. Have a beautiful evening, day,
Thank you for joining.
wherever you are.
Okay.
Thank you, Danielle.